I've done nothing but play Monster Hunter Rise these past few days, so it's nice to talk about our newest Mythic hero and Fire Emblem heroes. As usual, our monthly Mythic banner features a starting 8% focus rate with a permanent 0% rate for non-focus units. That means any 5-star unit you get is going to always be one of these 12 heroes, but it may not be as easy to get one specific unit. We'll talk about all the available units briefly along with their skills you can use for inheriting. First is our newest Mythic hero, Dagr from Book 5. One of the princesses of Jotunheimer. She's not only teamed up with Alphonse and crew, but we're already getting her in a playable version. She's an axe infantry unit and will be a light mythic hero that boosts resistance. As we continue getting more mythic units this year, it's very important to keep in mind that they will all start coming with the updated mythic effect, which allows you to use the extra team slots for offense or defense teams in Aether raids. Reginn has the new Astra effect, Sara's has the animal one, and Dagr is going to bring one for light season. If you like using Reginn for the extra team slot for offense, then Dagr should be a high priority pickup just for that bonus. Now I've got a preview of her stats from the trailer and they match up with her enemy data mine stats, so I would say chances are these are going to be final. She has 41 HP, 39 attack, 41 speed, 30 defense, and 25 resistance. Pretty typical high offensive stat line with a somewhat balanced defense and res spread. Dagr has a lot of stat stacking in her kit, so this spread will be pretty annoying to go up against. For her skills, Dagr has Dragon Fang to bop some fools, then she has attack and speed push 4 for the plus 7 attack and speed boost as long as she stays healthy. Her weapon is Skinfaxi, which is the same version from Book 5. This is a 16-mite axe that grants a flat plus 3 speed as was the Pathfinder effect. We will talk about Pathfinder in just a bit. Additionally, at the start of combat, if unit's HP is more than 25%, grants plus 5 to all stats and bonus to attack, speed, defense, and res equal to the current stat penalty on each of Dagr's stats times 2. So above 25% HP condition is pretty easy to achieve, and that gets Dagr more stats. She also gains the full Spectrum Unity effect that is also on Fallen Ike. Basically, if Dagr has a stat penalty like -7 attack, she will actually gain 7 times 2, which is plus 14 attack during combat. This effectively cancels out the -7 attack debuff, and in total, Dagr gains plus 7 attack, which stacks with her general stat boost. In a mode like Aether Raids, which has the 2 debuffing towers and all kinds of debuffing units, this is a very good ability to have on hand. Just keep in mind, Dagr does not neutralize these debuffs, so any ability the enemy has that procs off of penalties will still be active. Now let's talk about Pathfinder. It's been in the game for a bit now, but this will be the first time we get to use it ourselves. Basically, Pathfinder allows an ally to move through the space occupied by the user. It's counted as 0 spaces moved instead of 1, which essentially extends the range of an ally. This means someone behind Dagr can move through her and still retain all their movement, so an infantry ally would be able to move 3 spaces effectively. Important thing to understand is that Pathfinder only allows allies with movement types that can actually move through the current tile. For example, if Dagr was on a forest tile, Cavaliers still cannot move through forests, which essentially means they cannot use Pathfinder to move through Dagr. However, in the trailer they showcased a good example of Pathfinder's interaction with trenches. On the left, you can see Dagr moves onto a trench tile to attack Dual Ephraim. Afterwards, you can see Reginn use Pathfinder to basically skip the extra movement costs of the trench tile. She can move onto Dagr and then still move 3 spaces instead of being slowed down. If Dagr were on a forest tile, the interaction would be the same for infantry units. This is a very powerful utility ability, and I do wonder if we'll see Pathfinder on another unit type. It would be pretty crazy on a flyer, but if that were to happen, then just remember allies won't be able to traverse over sea or mountain spaces. It is a different mechanic from warping to an open space. Continuing on, Dagr gets a unique passive called Sun Twin Wing. This is a B skill that also works only above 25% HP. It inflicts -5 speed and defense on the foe and also grants the full no follow-up 3 ability. Neutralize any effects that guarantee the foe's follow-up attack and neutralize any effects that prevent Dagr's follow-ups. Something to keep in mind, all of Dagr's skills are only active above 25% HP, including her attack and speed push 4. Easy to upkeep at the start of battle, but Dagr has no damage reduction effects and the push skill will eat away at her HP. Sun Twin Wing is pretty simple, but another effective tool. It provides even more speed and damage for Dagr, and no follow-up. It's just so good against many different units. For a new inheritable skill, Dagr brings Even Tempest 3. At the start of even numbered turns, grant 1 extra movement to the user. This is just the even turn variant of Odd Tempest from Legendary Dimitri. It is only inheritable by infantry and flying melee units. Their movement every other turn can be pretty strong, but obviously you need to time it right. Bonus movement combined with Pathfinder is definitely a scary combo. Dagr is bringing mobility for herself and for her team. In a basic scenario, Dagr is basically getting plus 10 attack and speed from Skinfaxi and Sun Twin Wing, then another plus 7 from the push skill. very strong offensive kit, and she has no follow-up to brush aside all the annoying follow-up skills. With all the free bonus stats, it seems like Dagr should be fine running distant counter, but she may not be able to tank for long periods without some healing. She also has no damage reduction effects, which is very surprising considering they gave Dagr and her sister close call type skills in their story chapters. I do have to wonder if this is because they plan to put out more damage reduction counters later this year, like we saw with Duessel weapon, which reduced percent damage reduction effects. As a light mythic hero who is more offensive in nature, I'm interested in how she's going to perform. Obviously the extra team slot can provide a big bonus itself, and Pathfinder can get allies in position. She can get 3 movement to engage with even Tempest, but she doesn't have Reginn's Kanto, although Gale Force is an option. If you want to tank with distant counter, then she can't get the bonus stats from the mythic blessings. I think as a unit in a 1v1 fight or a normal 1v1 fight, Dagr should be fine. Lots of stats, reverses stat debuffs, and no follow-up. Very simple but effective. In Aether Raids, I'm sure she'll be okay, we'll just have to see what people do with her. She could open up some interesting strategies thanks to Pathfinder. Overall, seems like a solid unit, but her strength in Aether Raids may come more from her utility perks. Moving on, let's talk about the 11 other heroes on this banner. For red, we have Reginn, Legendary Marth, and Legendary Eirika. For blue, we have Legendary Lucina, Duessel, and Guinivere. Green has Dagr, Freyja, and Legendary Edelgard. Then for colorless, we got Bramimond, Legendary Corrin, and Sara. Everyone gets a free Reginn from the Book 5 story, so no pressure to get her. She is a very strong sword cavalier with great stats to reduce some damage when attacking. Her unique Sather Shout special pre-charges itself and gives Reginn adaptive damage. Reginn also gets Kanto from her weapon, which lets her move again after making an action for the first 4 turns. It's such a good ability to have, and it can combo with Gale Force too. Reginn also has fantastic fodder skills, so Sparrow 3, low speed and defense 3, both provide a great offensive boost, and you can grab both of them if you get some Swift Sparrow 2 fodder. You can also get Panic Smoke instead if you want to inflict AoE panic. Next is Legendary Marth. He's an infantry sword unit, and his Exalted Falchion is effective against dragons, plus he has built-in bonus doubler. Marth's Fire Emblem special grants bonus damage based on his speed and also gives +4 to all stats and his allies after it activates. Binding Shield makes Legendary Marth a top tier dragon counter by preventing their counterattacks, plus it gives him a free follow-up attack while preventing one of theirs. For skills, Marth's gonna have Tag and Speed Bond 3, and he's still the only holder of Infantry Flash 3, which provides Flashing Blade to allies within 2 spaces. Last is Legendary Eirika, who's a sword cavalier. A little outgunned by Reginn in terms of pure stats, but Eirika has her Lunar Brace B skill, which adds true damage equal to 50% of the foe's defense stat when she triggers her special. Extremely strong effect, and you can use it with Luna for a near 100% defense reduction for some hilarious results. The bad part is that Lunar Brace inflicts +1 special cooldown, so you need some help getting those specials to proc. Storm Signaling does grant bonus special charging if Eirika is surrounded by more enemies than allies though. She also has Tag and Speed Solo for bonus stats and on defense wave for some extra defense to work with. With legendary remixes bringing buffs and from the looks of it upgrades to the unique skill of older legendaries, I'm personally super excited to see what they do with Lunar Brace. It's a very funny skill to mess around with. Moving on to the blue group, we have Legendary Lucina. She's a blue infantry archer and that gets bonus stats when initiating against melee units, and her Future Vision assist skill is very annoying. Lucina gets to swap with an ally and then she gets to move again. For her passive skills, Lucina comes with Swift Sparrow 2 and then Wings of Mercy and Distant Guard 3. Okay skills, but nothing crazy. Next is Duessel, the Obsidian. He's a Lance Cavalier with very low speed but has great attack, defense, and res. Duessel is a very strong unit if you cannot stop his weapon, which grants a follow-up attack when alone. He also inflicts attack and defense debuffs, which stacks with low attack and defense, and then Duessel has defense and res solo 4 and Rouse defense and res for maximum defensive power. I have been throwing Duessel at legendary and mythic maps, and the guy is a monster for PvE content. He's super tanky, and I actually like running Gale Force on him to take out 2 enemies in a turn. Duessel proves just how powerful follow-ups can be if left unchecked when you put them on a super tanky unit. Last is Guinivere, who is a blue infantry mage. Stat-wise, she has pretty good speed and res stats with abysmal defense. However, she has some unique traits from her Aureliola tome. It's effective against mages, so Guinivere is a potent mage duelist. She gets more attack, speed, and resistance, and also heals herself and allies with 7 HP after combat. She even disables adaptive damage to handle dragons. Honestly, a very strong magical damage dueler, and she just comes with more attack and res increasing skills. Attack and res push 4's recoil is cancelled out by her healing from the tome. Low attack and res and joint drive res only make Guinivere harder to take out with magic damage. She's kind of a pretty unique blue mage. For the green group, we got Mythic Dagr, who we already talked about. For skills, she has attack and speed push 4, which is great for shorter fights. Then obviously, Even Tempest is brand new, so if you want extra movement on even turns, then you're gonna need Dagr. Next is Mythic Freyja, who's a green beast cavalier and a light mythic hero. I believe she's still the fastest unit in the game with 44 freaking base speed, but her defenses are not very high. Freyja's Nightmare Horn is a crazy weapon though. It has distant counter, plus can give 40% damage reduction if Freyja outspeeds her opponent. She definitely wants that damage reduction to be active. Her Biting Necklace skill is a soul type skill that grants bonus stats to Freyja, inflicts some debuffs to the enemy, and then screws over anyone with field buffs. Not only does Freyja steal those field buffs for herself, but she cancels them out for the enemy by inflicting more in-combat debuffs. In terms of attacking speed, Freyja stacks so much when alone, and she also has Pulse Smoke to slow down specials. If you can't deal with Freyja's speed, then you're going to want to watch out. Last is Legendary Edelgard, Axe armor unit with very high attack. Legendary Edelgard is a pretty offensive armor unit. She also has solo type skills, but she can inflict attack and defense debuffs and prevent a follow-up attack. Raging Storm lets Edelgard move again after attacking for free at one time, and she can stack it with Gale Force for 3 actions in a single turn by herself. With Armored Stride, Edelgard gets extra movement, so she can turn into a crazy initiator. If you want to get Dagger, not a bad time to do so. 3 good units and lots of skills to inherit. Last up is Colorless, starting with Mythic Bramimond. He's a colorless infantry mage that's made quite a name for himself on dark defense teams. Bramimond has a lot of attack, and Void Tome grants bonus attack, defense, and resistance against foes with more than 50 attack, while also giving a follow-up attack if the enemy has more than 35 speed. It's a bit weird, but both of these also proc if the foe has a penalty on them. As for Impenetrable Dark, Bramimond basically challenges his opponent to a 1v1 in the Shadow Realm. He disables all skills not on his current foe, which means 0 support buffs are active. Quite a powerful effect. For his passes, Bramimond's gonna have attack and defense push 4 and low attack and res, both fine skills for more stat stacking. Next is legendary female Corrin. If you didn't get her on the recent A Hero Rises banner, then here you go again. She's a colorless infantry dragon with lots of stats. Her Primordial Breath grants faster specials, plus 5 to all stats, and even more special charge when attacking. This synergizes with her Negating Fang defensive special, which grants 30% damage reduction against melee and ranged attacks. Corrin then counterattacks with bonus damage equal to 30% of her attack stat. With Shield Pulse, Negating Fang is going to be pre-charged, and Primordial Breath will recharge it when Corrin attacks. Honestly, a very annoying thing to deal with on a unit with tons of bonus stats. To make things worse, Corrin has distant counter to fight anyone, and then Joint Trap Attack buffs the user and nearby allies. Very good unit for all kinds of situations, and keep in mind, things like Deadeye do not affect Negating Fang since it's a special skill. Not even Dual Leaf's weapon works on it, so while Guard can mess up Negating Fang from being recharged, it's not going to lose its effectiveness. Last up, we have Sara. She's an infantry healer with insane offensive stats. 40 attack, 37 speed is easily the best offensive spread you can ask for, and she already has attack speed push 4 for more damage. Very potent healer who is basically a colorless mage. As for her key staff, this comes with Wrathful Staff, and every turn it grants plus 6 attack and speed and neutralizes penalties on the lowest HP ally who has a penalty. Sara can cleanse an ally, but only beat the lowest HP one if multiple units are debuffed. If no one has a penalty, it just targets the lowest HP ally. For her other skills, Sara has Return Plus, which is a reposition skill combined with healing. Very strong ability if you want to have a healer make offensive moves and then get danced. Sara will also come with Dazzling Staff and Joint Drive Res to really make one crazy good kit if you're looking for some fodder skills. Definitely a really strong colors group this time. That's going to be it for this monthly banner. Dagger would definitely be sought after just for the new light mythic effect. I forgot to mention it also works in the revamped Mjolnir Strike game mode. That's the only way to be able to use that extra slot. Personally, I have no orbs left. I got my Saros from the A Hero Rises banner and got a harmonized Merc, so it's back to saving up for me. Let me know what you guys think about Dagger, and if you're trying to get her, then I wish you good luck. See you guys in the next video.